What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Ben Thomas Show. Thanks for coming back. Guys, I just got back from Nashville. It was an awesome trip, but I am a day late to the news, and Hot Toys has previewed, well, Fantastic 3 as well as a Galactus. And does this spoil things? I'm curious how you guys are going to feel about this, but let's talk about these figures and maybe the future of the Fantastic Four. So stick around if you like the video, hit the like button, smash the subscribe if you're new to the Ben Thomas Show, and let's get into it.
I give you Ben Thomas Showtime. Here we go.
Okay guys, welcome back. So let's start the conversation today with Galactus. This is pretty crazy. We'd been shown some teases of Galactus for Fantastic Four coming up, and the Fantastic Four film is one of my highly anticipated ones for the month of July. I really enjoyed Superman for what it is. I'm excited to see it a second time. But Fantastic Four has got me interested because the MCU has needed a bit of a powerhouse film for a while. And while I did like Thunderbolts, it didn't necessarily propel it back to where I wanted it to be, that past glory that it had. So Fantastic Four. There's some potential here, right? Especially with regards to the characters. If you're familiar with the comics, Galactus is a world-consuming power. So it's weird to see him in format, and it's crazy because we haven't seen him this detailed yet. Hot Toys has kind of teased and spoiled the news a little bit. Again, we knew he was going to be in there, at least to a certain extent, but I was thinking possibly an end credits scene. You see him kind of as a looming threat. This looks like there's at least at some point in the film an opportunity for him to shrink down to a fightable scale. You literally see little versions of the Fantastic Four characters fighting him on the figure. Now, that could just be a cool figure thing to provide and not necessarily a spoiler, but I feel like they had inspiration from somewhere, so that feels a little on the spoilery side to me. The figure itself does look really cool. I would say overall that this is still very much that power pose type of figure. If you're not familiar with power pose, it really just means that it doesn't have that much in the way of points of articulation. This has 6 points of articulation with rotatable movement in the head, upper arms, forearms, and waist. That is it. Otherwise, he is just going to stand there, and pretty largely so. This guy is coming in at 27.5 inches or 70 centimeters, so that's pretty crazy. But is this even truly a 6-scale representation of Galactus from the film? It remains to be seen. The figure looks cool. There are parts of him that look a little on the cheap side, but I think unless you did the HasLab back in the day, you probably have never had the opportunity to have a Galactus in your display. So if this presence is insane in the film, it might be really cool to have him as a piece of our collection. But I'm going to hold off on this figure until I know what kind of threat Marvel makes him. Because truly, this is way bigger than Thanos ever could have been, in my opinion. But they gotta do it right. Let me know what you guys think on this figure. But let's look at Reed Richards next, because, again, interesting one here. Now, obviously, Pedro Pascal, to me, is in this sculpt. I can see him in there. But there's this weird thing with his eyes, or maybe the mouth expression. It almost looks like he's had botched plastic surgery. It was Pedro Pascal, but there's just a little bit of something weird going on in his face. I know it's him, but the reason I feel critical is because we just got that Last of Us figure announced, a week ago? And that thing looked just like Pedro Pascal, at least in my opinion. And even in that video I said, this makes me feel really optimistic that the Mr. Fantastic is going to be good, because, this thing looks amazing. Well, I would still say this thing looks good, but this still feels more like a 7.5 out of 10. Now, some of these shots, I think, look more like him than others. Obviously, that's going to be a lighting thing. It's going to be camera trickery to a certain extent. The interesting piece here is that you can potentially get a special edition set that actually comes with a metal collectible card, which is random, so I guess they're getting away from the coins. Also, it has an interchangeable sculpt statue body. So this is weird because one half of the figure, when you can swap the body out, is going to be just basically hard plastic, whereas the rest will be material. Otherwise, you've got these two different textures, or one piece of that figure will just kind of sit in the box. And he's Mr. Fantastic, so it feels like a weird thing to not want to showcase his powers in my display if I get the figure. But I don't love the material choice that they had to go with here. Even the Mafex figure has material choices, even for the stretched arms. So that is weird to me for Hot Toys. It feels like they cheated, like just a little bit, if I'm being honest. The Herbie that comes with this looks really, really cool. I do like the look of this outfit in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm excited to see it on the big screen. I love how bright and colorful it is. And I do like that each individual outfit that we're going to see here next has subtle differences. While it's a team suit look, they all have their own unique characteristics, and I appreciate that. I do think the stretched limbs look really good, though. I've seen shots of the film that he's doing this particular pose even, which I think is cool. The figure base is nice, and I like that it has almost like a 60s vibe to it, but to me, I'm like never displaying bases, so I'm happy for those who do, because this is a great like hexagonal piece. It's cool that he also has to have then interchangeable hands because of his stretchability as well. So that's cool thinking, and I'm glad that obviously they are really nailing it here. They've still got some time to tweak this sculpt. I'm really hoping that they can for us, because I am anticipating liking this film, and Mr. Fantastic is the guy. He's the guy. Now the next one is also interesting for me. We're talking about Sue Storm, and I think this actress is stunning. I think she's got such unique facial characteristics. And I was really interested to see how Vanessa Kirby would be brought in to figure format. And I'm like not sure how I feel about it, honestly. Like, I even showed a friend that's not a non-collector, and I said, "How do you think this looks?" And her first reaction was, it looks like she's almost a little on the dead side, very dead-eyed. It doesn't have the same light in her eyes that the actress has. And I know sometimes that can be difficult to find in figure format, but she was right. Like, this does have some level of deadness in the stare. The nose to me doesn't look quite right. And there, again, just like the Pedro Pascal, is something going on with the eyes, but it's damn close. I know who this is, of course, supposed to be. I just don't think they've absolutely nailed this likeness. I would give this somewhere in, again, honestly, a 7.5 to 8 range. Hot Toys traditionally nails figures that have age lines, things that you can sculpt and really bring to life, and I don't hate this, and the more I've looked at it over the last 24 hours, the more it does grow on me. And without a direct comparison, I definitely see Vanessa Kirby in there. I do like this outfit. Again, the collar section of this outfit is different than the Pedro Pascal, which I do like. Getting back into spoiler possibility territory here, though, we're getting what looks like a baby Franklin along with this figure. And the baby itself, I think, is a little on the creepy side, if I'm being honest. I don't think I would display a 6-scale baby. But Franklin, powerful being, he can literally manipulate reality. He's stronger and has more psionic abilities than some of the Omega characters that already exist. Having Franklin in this film could change the landscape for me of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, bringing a powerful force back into the hero side. The story of Franklin in the comics is really, really cool. I would definitely recommend you guys check that out, or at least read some information on it before you see the film. But this again teases that we will ultimately see a baby in the film. Now, it's interesting to me that you could also get the Herbie with this figure or Reed Richards. I don't know why you would need two. I think obviously if you're considering this line, you're likely considering the full line, so you'd want both. This may give some added value to the figure, or perceived value potentially, if you like having a Herbie in your display, or maybe you truly only want Reed Richards, so getting Herbie with him, or having the ability to maybe just get Sue Storm if she's your favorite of the characters. It gives you a few more options. So I'm not complaining. You don't need to get that set if you don't want it. You don't need to get that inclusion. The 6-scale baby is just weird. I don't know. I don't know about that, guys. The outfit does look really good, and what's up with the awkward posing? Is she like not able to be posed very well, or did the person who made these photos just not know how to pose? Like, really awkward leg position and ankle positioning in some of these. So odd choice there. It does make me wonder what the articulation is going to be with all of these figures, if that's the case. But again, she just has like a little bit of a dead stare, and like the other characters, I would have liked to see, you know, maybe like a semi-transparent arm or something that you could swap out that wasn't just this effects piece, but something that like gave her kind kind of transforming ability look. I think that would be cool, right? Even if it was like a see-through head sculpt, or again, see-through arms, something that's easy, see-through hands even, just like she's in the process of changing. I think that could have been an easy win, and it sucks that it's not included here. But since we haven't seen the movie, we also don't know if she's going to have that power, so maybe this is some insight. This photo of all 4 of them, though, I do see Pedro Pascal more in it. So again, it tells me that this may just be more lighting that's affecting these photos and the quality of the likeness of these figures than I can speculate on. But let's also now talk about the Thing, because the Thing is, in my opinion, my favorite of these announcements. I think this is freaking cool looking. He's a little on the shiny side, which is weird. I'm excited to see what he looks like again under my own display lighting. I think that will really bring him to life. I'm excited that this is the first time we've seen Thing with his big chunky brows, right? Like, that is him in the comics. It's crazy it's taken so freaking long to get what feels like a really comic represented look for him, and I think this is great. Now, what I did not expect in figure format is that you can take the shirt off. So you can display him with the outfit on, with the big, Fantastic Four cast here, or you can take it off. I think if you were only going to get one figure that represented the Fantastic Four, depending on how the film goes at the very least, the Thing I think could actually potentially be that one figure. Because again, you could take off the sweater so he's just a badass Thing from Fantastic Four. You'd know what it was representing. But by nature of the design here, otherwise, it says 4 on all of their outfits. And if you don't get all 4, it's going to be a weird display when you think about it. Now, with the Vanessa Kirby figure, I was saying that her eyes give kind of a dead stare look, and they're not as bright as the actress. Now, it's weird to me that the Thing's eyes are beautiful. Do they not just absolutely pop with life on this figure? It's wild to me. I love that the arms also, once they're exposed, don't show any joints. Joints break immersion for me. I've talked about this many times. So to me, that's a huge, huge figure win. Are you going to get some creasing in the elbows? Maybe similar to a Venom or a Thanos? Yeah, 100%. It looks like that's the body type, right? And it's weird because he looks like Rock, but he's going to be a little squishy, but that's cool. Now, again, back to spoiler territory here. We've seen a little bit of a glimpse maybe in the trailers that Fantastic Four Thing here is going to have a beard. Seeing a Rock beard on a figure is definitely freaking weird, I will say. So I'm excited to see how they incorporate that into the film. But otherwise, he's pretty stripped down. He doesn't really come with a lot. I mean, he's just going to be a physical presence. I would have liked to see him have maybe a rock or something that he could be breaking through or throwing, something that would just add a little bit more to the dynamic look for him. But that's a nitpick. I think that's something that collectors could easily figure out a way to get in their display after the fact, especially if there's room, right? Because this guy's already going to take up definitely a little bit more space, but he's not as large as a Thanos either. So it's going to be cool to see what this guy looks like. And I'd be excited to see down the line if Hot Toys gives us another Hulk figure, because I would love to have a Thing going up against a Hulk. I think that would be really cool, even if we never get a film of it, of course. I also think that the Thing looks most like what I've seen from the film. The rock patterning even really seems on point. And in certain lighting here, he does lose some of that sheen that he's got a little bit there, but I just think it looks so good. I think he looks so good. I am stoked. The Thing is definitely coming home for me either way, even if I don't end up going in on the whole line. I think he still represents Fantastic Four for me, and he's always been a cool character for me in the comics. So yeah, I freaking love this, and I hope that I love him in the film just as much, because that'll get me more excited. Now, last but not least, we of course have Johnny Storm, that's only been shown in this particular teaser photo so far. So that's weird. I don't know why they would announce even the likes of Galactus at this point, and the other 3, but not the final 4th member. It's strange. There's got to be something going on either with the likeness or the license or something, but I'm really, really hoping that we get an update on that quick. Maybe the actor wasn't happy with what he got, or who freaking knows, but that would be the craziest sin of all time, I think. It's one thing to not complete a Guardians team suit or an Avengers team suit look, but when it's called the Fantastic Four, you either only want one or you definitely need all four. But you gotta have the option. I think that would be absolute shit if they omitted Johnny Storm. And from this photo, I still think he could use some work. So I'm hoping that when we do see him, they've made a couple tweaks and we end up liking that as well. But like I said, with some of the spoilers here, now we get a chance to have a better look at things like Galactus. We know what he's going to look like, shrunken down at the very least, or what he'll look like expanded. For better or for worse, is that annoying to you that we already have that tease to us before we've even seen the film? For me, I don't like spoilers like that, but it's out there, so we got to talk about it. I also don't love knowing that Sue is going to at least have her baby in the film. I think that they've teased it in a trailer. I go out of my way to not watch all the trailers, so if you're like me, you might not already know that 100%, but Baby Franklin, that could really open up some really great storytelling for future MCU, so that does make me really happy. Otherwise, I think this is a pretty cool set of announcements for 1 week. And again, sorry for the late news. I literally just got home back to my YouTube studio about an hour ago. I am tired. I am ready for bed, but I wanted to get the news out to you guys and talk a little bit about these figures because it's a pretty cool time to be a Hot Toys fan. And I love the fact also that just like now Deadpool, just like now Superman, we're getting some announcements before these films come out. That is smarter marketing. Way better. Don't wait 2 years to show us something that we want. I am an emotional buyer sometimes, and I will come out of a theater and buy something if I love it. So having the option to do so, I think is super, super important for collectors, and I think that this is a win, despite the fact that I do think that Vanessa Kirby's character here could use some tweaking in terms of the head sculpt, and I do think Pedro Pascal could potentially use a little tweaking as well. Could just be the photos, but he looks a little bit strange. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below and what you thought of some of this being spoiled for the film before we've even had a chance to see it this coming week. If you guys liked the video though, hit the like button, smash the subscribe if you're new to the Ben Thomas Show, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Wow, what a great audience. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because subscribing makes you feel good.
Where shall I go? What shall I do?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
It's gone. It's all gone.